Hello, I am here and I have a breakdown. I slept through my alarm. I got like 2 extra hours of sleep. Now, it still wasn't a lot, but I did. As I reach my days off, and I might take another nap after this, but I got to get this breakdown in, and it's still NBA playoff time. Every time we get one of these Oklahoma City Thunder breakdowns, we got to look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And again, I say Gilchrist, but then it looks like Gilgis, right? But scores 25 points, leads the Thunder past Denver 92-87 to tie the series at 2. And we can look at the playoff brackets here. And you see series tied at 2. OKC Thunder, the number 1 ranked team coming into the playoffs. The Nuggets are 4. And that's interesting as I catch that. 1 in that 4. Because I'll be able to bring that up here in a little bit. As I did notice some 1s and 4s that I can mention. And you see the T-Wolves and Warriors, Minnesota is up 2 games to 1. So we're down to these 4 teams. The Pacers lead the Cavs 3-1. And you see the Knicks are up on the Celtics 2 games to 1 right there. So back to Shai. Here he is right here. And I have a previous breakdown with another game I did. And you see, look at the name right there, Shavante Asian or Iasian, however it's pronounced. And again, Gilchrist-Alexander. Gilchrist-Alexander. I'm going to ask Google how to pronounce his name. But you see him right there. OKC Thunder. I'm going to ask Google. Let's do this. I'm curious. Am I saying this name right? All right. So let's go over here. Let's see.
Life's better when you're under
Of
our
course, we're going to
roof.
get that.
Save up to 23% by bundling your
Of
home
course,
and
we get
auto with
that,
us.
right?
The name of these famous Canadian basketball player. For more names from
Canadian.
basketball, the NBA, make sure to stay tuned. Oklahoma City Thunder. Shai. Yes, I've heard it many times pronounced as Shai. No, the pronunciation of his name in English is as Shai Gilgeous. It's hard.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know why I always hear Gilchrist. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It doesn't sound right, though.
G pronunciation Gilgeous Alexander. Well, the last of the names is easy. Shai Gilgeous.
Okay, so we're going Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I don't think I entered his full name like that. So I'm going to copy that, paste that. We have the Gematrinator calculator right here. And we might hit that. We may hit something like that on the fly right there, okay? And I can go ahead and do the first name like that. Ooh, there's that 4 and the 1. Look at that. Remember, these two teams are ranked. The Nuggets are 4 and the Thunder are 1. So look at that. That's his first name right there. Shavante. You get the 41 right there, okay? That's nice because I think I have a few more of those to mention. And this appears to be the middle name. Let's look at that. And I don't really see anything that pops out with the middle name there, but that first name with that 41, that's big right there, okay? And notice his full name syncs up with the National Basketball Association. Look at that. The National Basketball Association. 2 out of the 4 base ciphers, and those are high numbers. Look at that. That looks pretty nice right there. His full name exactly with the National Basketball Association. 329 ABC 123 cipher. You see ordinal right there? And 535 in reverse. The reverse cipher with the language. That's a super hot connection right there. Very, very nice. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. So he scores 25 points, and it's a 5-point victory for OKC over Jokic and the Thunder, right? Winner of this series will head to the NBA Finals. All right. And with these two teams, it's a best of 7 series. So each team would need 2 more victories to advance to the finals, right? So the NBA's youngest team made all the clutch plays in crunch time against an experienced squad with the championship pedigree with the Nuggets, right? As they've won an NBA Finals. So knotting the second round series with a 92-87 win in game 4. So this is game 4 as well, with Denver being ranked number 4 headed into the playoffs here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 9 of his 25 points. Check this out, in the 4th quarter. So the 4 is kind of piling up here. Pulling the top-seeded Thunder from the brink of a 3-1 deficit against a Denver team known for closing out games while winning 6 of its last 7 playoff series, and the 2 tight games earlier in this series that resumes Tuesday night in OKC. About 36 hours after an exhausting overtime Game 3 Friday night, the early Mother's Day tip-off produced an ugly first half that featured a combined, just chug some orange juice. But yeah, we can't forget this was on Mother's Day, okay? And there's going to be some connections there, right? So the early Mother's Day tip-off produced an ugly first half that featured a combined 25 points in the first quarter. And it ended with OKC up 42-36 at the break. Quick turnaround with an early game today. We made an intentional effort to use our depth today and get everybody going. Thunder coach Mark Daniel said. Okay. So let's go directly into this breakdown here. Look at that. So the winning team here syncs up with Mother's Day as the game is on Mother's Day. Remember the language. This code runs all of these stories that we're given, right? Look at how Mother's Day you get 47, just like OKC Thunder, and 52. And it's also in the same ciphers, 47 and 52. Even just OKC equals 52. Look at that. Mother's Day, 47 and 52, like OKC Thunder. They pull off the victory on Mother's Day. And Again, as I mentioned, OKC also you get the 52, right? You could say, okay, it's a coincidence, but even OKC wins on Mother's Day. OKC equals 11, Mother's Day on the 11th of May. You see that? OKC 11, Mother's Day. They pick up the victory on the 11th, Mother's Day on the 11th. Look at Oklahoma City Thunder. 101 and 101 is like 11. You see that? You just got a 0 right there in between. But look, 101 like 11. Mother's Day on the 11th. OKC equals 11. So, you want to think that's a coincidence. I didn't see where it matched with the losing team. But even if it would match with the Nuggets, they're playing this game on Mother's Day, right? And this can kind of expose the language a little bit in this number system, right? This 26 letters with the alphabet. If you want to just talk about that. But what do you think about this? There's a combined 179 points in this game. And Gilgeous-Alexander equals 179. He's highlighted in the article with the 25 points, right? 92 points for his team with the victory, 87 for the Nuggets, added up 179. And again, his last name equals 179 in the language. He is currently 26 years old. Shai equals 26. And look, Denver Nuggets equals 62. This game and this victory, 62 days before his birthday. So you get 62, 62, 26, 26. Something else, as this guy's trending with this victory for OKC over the Nuggets, think about Shannon Sharp that's trending. And what's his nickname or whatever? Shay Shay? Or they call him Shay Shay, don't they? Ooh, and look at Shannon Sharp's birthday. Look at this. Shannon Sharp birthday. Shay Shay, look, on the 26th. And that's the 26th day of the 6th month. So 266. Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 26s and the 62s. Look how that lands, and that's on the fly right there. You see that? That's on the fly right there. Trending. Club Shay Shay.
Here's some information about Club Shai
See that? Look at that.
NFL legend Shannon Sharp, 3x Super Bowl champion and member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, sits down with the biggest athletes, celebrities, and influencers to discuss their accomplishments.
You see that? That's on the fly. Club Shay Shay. We get the 26 connection with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, that's 62 days before his birthday. But it's a 63-day span from start to end with the two dates. Notice how that's the same. Look up here on the right corner, top. That's the same as 2 months, 2 days. The series is tied at 2-2. Look at the 2 on the jersey. Basketball equals 22. The National Basketball Association, 202, like 22. And don't forget, Gilgeous-Alexander also connected over here with the National Basketball Association. 329 and 535. You see that? And I also have this other breakdown from some months back that we will look at the end. And what's cool about that is because you could see similar numbers to whereas whenever these stories are trending, every so often when it's the same characters, you'll see similar patterns with the numbers in different stories. That's why I do this. That's why I make slides. That's why I save them so I can go back and I can look at them. So we'll look at that a bit. And this game is on a 25 date numerology. We are in the year 25. Gilgeous-Alexander with the 25 points, leading the Thunder past the Nuggets. Let's kind of look at the box score. Let's see who the leader was for Denver here. And game 5 will be, let me reset this. It looks like will be tomorrow, Tuesday. Game 6, Thursday. Now let's look at this box score. This 5-point victory for OKC. You see Gilgeous-Alexander with the 25. It's the supporting cast came through. Not high on the point totals, but just enough. Aaron Wiggins, 11 points. Is it Kason Wallace or Kason Wallace with 11? Alex Caruso with 10. Jalen Williams with 10. And a couple players here pick up 8 points. So pretty good support to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with his 25. For the Nuggets, look, Jokic has 27. Christian Braun, Jamal Murray, they check in with 17. Aaron Gordon has the 15 in support of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now we're going to look at here's this other breakdown from earlier in the season. Look at Cavaliers beat the Thunder 129 to 122 to end OKC's 15-game winning streak in matchup of NBA's top teams. That was during the season. And look, the 11 hit there as well. Remember this playoff game against the Nuggets Sunday the 11th on Mother's Day, right? So when I look back at this game and this breakdown, you see the 11 hit in that breakdown as well. As that game was on the 100. Oh, Jared Allen's birthday. In that game, look, Jared Allen's birthday. And wow, so okay, so that wasn't that long ago, it appears, right? So it wasn't that long ago, it appears. I don't know why. I'm thinking that was a while back. I don't think it was that long ago. But anyways, you see, look at Jared Allen's birthday. Wow, and that's the Queen's birthday, Queen Elizabeth II. That's interesting as well. But look at that. Okay. His birthday, the 111th day of the year. And again, this current game on the 11th Mother's Day. But look, Cleveland Cavaliers has the 111. The Cavs extended their winning streak to 11. Improved the league's best record to 32-4. And look, 11-0 against the West. And if you go down a little bit, look, Donovan Mitchell, who had just 11 points. So this 11 seems to follow OKC. It appears right there. You see that? And Gilgeous-Alexander, you see, obviously a factor throughout the season and in that game as well. You even see Jalen Williams had 25 in that game and this current game Gilgeous-Alexander has 25. And there's still more with that 4 and that 1. And notice how Cavaliers equals 63 from this previous breakdown. And our current game was a 63-day span from the Mother's Day game against the Nuggets. From that day to Gilgeous-Alexander's birthday is a 63-day span. So look how you get this 63 in this other game with the Cavs and Thunder. And obviously you see the 36s right there. And look at that. And his last birthday, 63 date numerology for Gilgeous-Alexander. There's the 4s and the 1s. Remember Denver. And don't forget, this breakdown is from during the season. Okay? This breakdown from during the season. Look at how the 4 and the 1 hit right there. That was a 104-day span from that game against the Cavs to Jared Allen's birthday, member of the Cavs. 104-day span from the game to his birthday. And you see Oklahoma 140 and 41. Remember, Denver is ranked number 4, OKC ranked number 1. Gilgeous-Alexander's middle name equals 41. But you see Oklahoma 140 and 41, Shavonte Gilgeous-Alexander 140 and 410. You see that right there? And that was from that breakdown. And we can go look at the middle name again. You see it was Shavonte, my bad. Shavonte with 41. So that's even better. That's the first name right there. So Shavonte 41. And again, we look at the brackets here. Denver ranked 4. Thunder ranked 1. Okay? So very nice. Very nice there. And I'm just scrolling down the article. Again, Jokic with 27 points, 13 rebounds. But his 3 assists were a low for this playoff run and gave him 22 assists to go with 23 turnovers in his second round series. Jokic said he never thinks about fatigue, so he didn't blame anything or anyone else for Denver's 31% shooting clip and 34 missed threes. God, 34 missed threes. Wow. Right? Yeah, so that's the breakdown. Here's Gilgeous-Alexander. We fought, we stayed the course, and then we closed the game. A quote from him. Right? So that's a nice simple breakdown. You know, I enjoy all of these breakdowns, but I really enjoy these NBA breakdowns as these stories they're just really easy to decode, man, with the NBA. Always have been too, even if you look at the past, you look at milestones for a lot of the players in history, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James. And they're just really obvious. You know, they'll reach a lot of milestones on certain days. And it'd be like all of the players, right? You'll hit with the same numbers, it seems like, over and over and over. But yeah, those are some undeniable connections, even showing that other breakdown with that game versus the Cavs, as those were the two teams that seem to be the best teams in their conference this season. And where are those brackets again? And you see Cleveland right there. They're one of the 4 teams. Okay, so there's another 1 and 4, right? OKC, one of 4 teams with the 1 and 4 rankings. And remember, we just showed all the 14s and 41s. But yeah, you see the Cavs, they're down in their series. So one more loss and they're eliminated against the Pacers. And you see, look, they're ranked number 1 and number 4 as well. Cavs and Pacers over there. So we'll see if the Cavs can make a comeback over there, as these were the top 2 teams in their conferences right there. So you see that. And we just kind of look at, as I like to scroll back and you can just kind of take a glance here. And that Shannon Sharp Shai connection was big as well on the fly with the 62-26. Shannon Sharp's birthday, what was it? June 26, 626. So he's born on the 26th of his month. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Club Shai, Shannon Sharp. And don't forget the Mother's Day connection. There's probably more with that, but I think that's a solid hit right there. So Gilgeous-Alexander, 25 points, leads the Thunder past Denver, 92-87. Series tied at 2. Don't forget he's got that 22 on the, or he's got that 2 on the jersey as well. And look at even that picture of that guy whoever that is for OKC. Look, that dude's got the 22. You see that? How it's right there? Bam. Game 5 tomorrow. And then it said game 6 on Thursday. Shout out to y'all. Until next time.